Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Constantinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. We'll be getting you right into our coronavirus updates for the week. Since no new medical breakthroughs have currently been made, Massachusetts is currently still in Phase 3 of the reopening plan. The state will continue to monitor health trends as Governor Charlie Baker releases updates to the public. Here's more from his press conference on October 27th.
Yesterday, the Department of Public Health reported 1,216 new cases, 20,086 new individuals were tested by molecular tests, which means that over 2.6 million individuals have been tested in the Commonwealth and over 5.7 million molecular tests have been administered. And the 7-day average positivity rate remains at about 1.6%, which is where it's been for the past few days.
Massachusetts reaching 1,128 new cases of positive coronavirus tests in one day is the highest level of cases seen since May. The case level was the first time the state has passed the 1,000 mark since May 24th and pushes the total over 146,000 cases since the start of the pandemic in March. The governor went on to discuss ICU numbers and hospitalizations in the Commonwealth and how we're trending as we head into the colder months.
There are about 550 individuals currently hospitalized either with COVID or suspected of COVID, and about 105 are in the ICU. Confirmed hospitalizations have grown over the past 2 weeks by a little under 20%. Confirmed cases over the past 2 weeks have grown by about 70%.
The state of Massachusetts tracks the severity of cases as we move forward with COVID-19 in the winter and fall. Governor Baker went on to discuss who was most affected and what to look out for this winter season.
And as we continue to look at the data, several things become clear. Over the last several weeks, we've seen a significant increase in the number of people under 30 years old testing positive for COVID-19. That, by the way, is completely consistent with the conversations, discussions, and announcements we've put out about social gatherings, especially among younger people.
Before moving on to Secretary Mary Lou Sudders, Baker took a moment to discuss Thanksgiving and how residents should be careful during the holiday season.
But the science on this one's pretty clear. Gathering in groups, indoors, for an extended period of time, with family and friends is likely the worst possible scenario for spreading the virus. Today, the Department of Public Health has released tips on how families should think about and plan for a safe Thanksgiving.
Some recommendations for Thanksgiving given by the Baker administration included celebrating solely with members of your immediate family or to host virtual gatherings for those who can't be there. He passed it over to Secretary Sudders to further discuss options and possibilities for the holidays.
Wear a mask inside when you are not eating or drinking. Keep your gathering size small. Have I said that enough? Keep your gathering size small and make sure you abide by the Commonwealth's gathering limits. Keep the holiday shorter this time, on a shorter time frame to minimize time together. Open doors and windows to allow ventilation. Spend some time outside. Wear a mask while preparing food and don't share food or utensils. Limit your exposure to others several days after the holiday and get a COVID test.
For more information on restrictions and guidelines, you can visit mass.gov. Governor Baker also announced on October 28th the nomination of Justice Kimberly Budd as the 38th Chief of Justice of Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. This decision came just days after the nomination of Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who was chosen as the 115th Associate Judge on the United States Supreme Court. On another note, Boston Mayor Marty Walsh also held a press conference this week where he discussed how the city of Boston and their schools are moving forward after going fully remote.
We've continued our free meals availability to all the kids in our district and the families with 98 food distribution sites throughout the entire city. That includes 26 Boston Public Schools where you can pick up a week's worth of food in a single visit. So you'll be able to go there and pick up the entire week food that we would normally serve our kids in school. To find all of these resources and locations, go to boston.gov/BostonEats.
The Boston mayor went on to discuss Halloween and how things will look different this year as the city takes precautions for the holiday.
Halloween is going to be Saturday night. We want to remind families that trick-or-treating will be very different this year in our city. We're asking people there should be no knocking on doors. If somebody's not on the porch and they do not have candy laid out for you, you should not be knocking on their doors. We want to keep that face-to-face contact as low as possible. Also recommending that people place the individually wrapped candies on a tray in front of your house so the kids can come and take the candy off the tray. Or if you want to be creative, but we want to make sure that you keep a 6 to 8 foot buffer between you and the people coming to your house.
With hopes to keep people safe, Walsh took a moment to make a request of the people in Boston and Massachusetts.
Normally I'd focus on personal precautions like wearing a mask, washing your hands with soap and warm water, avoiding large gatherings, cleaning down surfaces. Those things are important as ever, but I have a different focus on today, and it's a call to action. I'm asking everyone to commit to getting tested for COVID-19.
With hopes to keep moving forward in the fight against COVID-19, Governor Charlie Baker and Boston Mayor Marty Walsh will continue to update the public as more information is being released. Stay tuned for more on Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Braintree Today. While Massachusetts is still in Phase 3 of the reopening plan, the town of Braintree continues to release important updates and news regarding the virus. Since last week, Braintree Town Hall has reported 46 new cases, bringing the total number of positive cases in the town up to 1,166. The town hasn't reported any new fatalities in over 2 months, which has kept the death toll in Braintree at 120. Currently, Braintree is designated as a high-risk community along with 121 other communities across the Commonwealth, according to state reports on Thursday. The town's positive test rate over the last 2 weeks was at 1.88%, up from the 1.62% last week. The town had 58 cases over the last 2 weeks and an average daily rate of 10.2 cases per 100,000 people. Braintree school officials announced Monday in an email that a member of the Braintree High School community has tested positive for coronavirus. The confirmed case is the second positive test to come out of Braintree High School in the last week. Principal Christopher Scully confirmed the community member was in the school while students and staff were present. He said the school's health office has reached out to any students and staff who were in close contact, and they will quarantine as a result. The town of Braintree and the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office have teamed up to provide a remote learning center for students. The center will allow up to 10 students per day and allows parents the opportunity to drop their child off to a supervised learning location. At the center, they will provide free Wi-Fi connection, organize activities during breaks, and regular cleaning and sanitizing. Children who attend will also be able to take part in an after-school adventure program that focuses on team building and rope-based activities. With spooky season upon us, Mayor Kokoris and the town of Braintree have announced that residents will be able to celebrate Halloween this weekend with door-to-door trick-or-treating on Saturday, October 31st from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. When trick-or-treating, the town has asked everyone to follow CDC guidelines and wear a mask. Keep 6 feet distance from others, and please refrain from eating candy until you get home. For more information and guidelines for trick-or-treaters and for handing out candy, please visit Braintree Town Hall's website at braintreema.gov. You can also call the Braintree Health Department at 781-794-8090. And now here's Petra Lynch for some highlights of last week's Town Council meeting.
Last week, Town Council met on Tuesday, October 20th and went over a request for gas installation to 86 Hancock Street. The property will be an electrical contracting business known as Integrated Electrical Systems Incorporated that is relocating its current offices and warehouse from Quincy to Braintree. Company president Chris Sidoti plans on renovating the facility and was hoping to upgrade the heating system to gas heat. However, the facility does not have a gas connection, so he would have to dig up a portion of the street in order to connect to the gas line. Before proceeding, he was told by National Grid that he would need to come before the town council with a petition because the street was recently paved in 2019 and was still under a moratorium. This was a cause for concern for some of the council members. However, most members were in support of the petition as long as the owner followed the conditions set by the council, which includes repaving the street the same way it was done before. The voting ended with 6 in favor and 2 opposed.
Thanks, Petra. Stay tuned for more on Braintree Today. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Braintree. With election season upon us, early voting has ended in Braintree as of Friday, October 30th. So for those who haven't voted yet, you can still vote this Tuesday, November 3rd. Braintree voter turnout for early voting already reached more than half of the 2016 election. The 11,834 ballots cast are more than 57% of the 2016 presidential election, which had a total of 20,626. So get out there and vote. As a reminder, poll locations have been changed due to COVID-19 restrictions and will go as follows. District 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B are at the Braintree High School. District 3A, 3B, 4A, and 4B are at East Middle School. And District 5A, 5B, 6A, and 6B are at South Middle School. For more information, you can visit Braintree's Town Hall website at braintreema.gov. With more on voting this week, a Copley Square ballot box was burned Sunday morning, destroying dozens of ballots inside. Firefighters responded to an incident in front of the Boston Public Library's main branch around 4 a.m. for reports of smoke coming out of the ballot box, but firefighters were able to extinguish it by filling the box with water. The Boston Elections Department determined there was 122 ballots in the box, only 87 of which were legible and processed. Voters are asked to check their ballot status and to immediately contact the Elections Department if they use the box between 2:30 p.m. Saturday and 4 a.m. Sunday. Police arrested a Boston man later that evening after police said he was caught on surveillance lighting fire to the ballot box. Now officials are worried Halloween pranks could result in more ballot box tampering and destruction and are now asking Massachusetts communities to empty and lock their ballot boxes overnight on Halloween if they are unable to monitor them. On another note, a Hull woman was indicted by a Norfolk County grand jury after prosecutors said she ran over her boyfriend with a car in Braintree's AMC Theater parking lot. Nicole LaChance was arrested in July after police said she struck her boyfriend with her car. Security video from the theater showed LaChance driving in circles around her boyfriend before striking him. The victim suffered life-threatening injuries, including a broken pelvis, 2 broken legs, and a punctured lung, according to the police report filed with the court. The indictments transferred LaChance's case from Quincy District Court to Norfolk Superior Court, where she could face a harsher sentence if convicted. This week, Salem Mayor Kim Driscoll announced that Salem will be closed for Halloween this year due to the coronavirus pandemic. Driscoll acknowledged how strange it was to stand in front of the cameras and do something that would have been considered incomprehensible less than a year ago, and stated, quote, "I want to express how abnormal it is to stand up here and not welcome people to Salem," end quote. Salem canceled all official events such as the Halloween parade and outdoor beer garden due to the coronavirus health crisis. Driscoll said during Wednesday's news conference, quote, "This is not the year to come to Salem," end quote. In other news, in honor of the oldest and largest drug prevention awareness campaign, AmeriCorps proclaimed last week that Red Ribbon Week would be celebrated in Braintree from October 23rd to October 31st. The Braintree Community Partnership on Substance Use has partnered with BCAM TV to bring children ages 4 through 9 a reading of the beautifully illustrated book, The Red Ribbon, A Story of Hope. You can still watch Lynn Frano read The Red Ribbon on BCAM TV's public access channel and on BCAM TV's YouTube channel. This week, Braintree announced that they have chosen a shorter loan repayment schedule to build a new South Middle School following the $63 million debt exclusion that Braintree residents overwhelmingly voted in support of back in September. AmeriCorps said it by paying off the loan in 25 years instead of 30 with an interest rate below 2%, the town will save about $3 million in interest over the life of the loan. The savings mean the average annual property tax cost to Braintree homeowners will decrease below the $170 per year previously estimated during the debt exclusion campaign. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts has made $50.8 million in grants available to support small businesses, micro enterprises, and their employees and families across the Commonwealth. The Massachusetts Growth Capital Corporation will be administering the funds in order to provide financial relief for the economic hardships that small businesses have been experiencing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The grant funding will be divided into two programs: small businesses with 5 or fewer employees and small businesses with 50 or fewer employees. The application closes on November 12th, and you can visit Braintree's Town Hall website at braintreema.gov for more information. This week, an 85-year-old colonial home in Braintree made headlines as Boston's Home of the Week. The exterior has a classic suburban color scheme, but Michelle Cortizzo, the interior designer, reached for an entirely different palette by adding flares of emerald greens, navy blues, and patterns to the interior. Cortizzo's design won a 2019 Silver Prism Award for the kitchen renovation for the under $125,000 category from the Builders and Remodelers Association of Greater Boston and was featured in Globe magazine. Homebuyers were quickly to scope out the newly renovated location, but as of recent, an offer has been made to purchase the home. On another note, former Boston University hockey player Travis Roy died at the age of 45 this week. Roy passed away in Vermont due to complications from a procedure he needed to maintain his quality of life. In 1995, Roy was paralyzed after an injury and became a philanthropist for spinal cord injury treatment. In 1997, Roy started the Travis Roy Foundation to help spinal cord injury survivors live more independent lives through adaptive equipment grants and funding scientific research. Boston University said in a statement referring to Roy, quote, "His story is the epitome of inspiration and courage, and he was a role model and a hero to so many people. Travis's work and dedication towards helping fellow spinal cord injury survivors is nothing short of amazing. His legacy will last forever, not just within the Boston University community, but with the countless lives he has impacted across the country. Our sincere thoughts are with his wonderful family, as well as his vast support group of friends and colleagues." End quote. Thank you for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more in sports and entertainment. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Let's take it over to Mike Wassel for the latest on Braintree sports.
Braintree and Walpole in boys soccer, and it's an early opportunity as Walpole in front of the net, and this one is stopped by the Braintree netminder, and then again it is a chance for Walpole, and the shot goes just wide here and into the fourth quarter. Braintree with the chance, and a huge save made as this one for a second time you see just getting a piece, and then it hits the crossbar on the way over as we remain scoreless late into the fourth quarter as Braintree looking for the go-ahead and winning goal, and a couple of times times here off of similar set plays. Braintree sending the shot just wide, this time up and over the bar as we remain that way. And then late in the final seconds of the game, it is Walpole scoring, but there is a no goal signaled by the referee for a slide tackle. You really have to see it a second time. It looked like Walpole had won the game in the waning seconds of this one, but the call will be for no goal, as the goal will not stand. As you see it a second time out in front, the initial bobble and then some contact with the goalie, and then the player slide tackling the ball into the goal, and it would not stand, and that's the way the game came to a close, a 0-0 draw. Boys soccer again later in the week. It is Braintree and Weymouth this time, and it's an opportunity for the Womps to score first, and they do just that on a nice shot, seeing eye shot that found its way through traffic as Braintree leads 1-0 after a quarter of play. And into the second quarter, Weymouth looking for the tying goal, and they will get it on a perfect strike after some really nice dribbling by O'Ready as Weymouth ties the score at 1, and then nearly going ahead here in the third quarter, but the shot hits the post, and then another close play as Braintree not able to get the save initially, and then they send it away, and that's the way the game comes to a close. Another tie for Braintree this week, 1-1 with Weymouth. Girls field hockey, and it's Braintree and Weymouth as the Womps get the game's first goal on the doorstep as Morris makes it 1-0, and then it's lead to make it a 2-0 Braintree lead after a quarter of play, and Braintree not done offensively as after a steal, it's Sylvia finding the back of the goal to make it 3-0, and then Weymouth hoping to get on the board. They have a breakaway, their best chance of the half, and a save is made. And Braintree looking to add on here as the end of the first half nears, and they get the goal on the doorstep by Hannigan, 4-0 Braintree, and then they add on here in the second half on the goal by Holland to make it a 5-0 game, and then Sylvia caps off the scoring on a breakaway goal in the final seconds of the game as the game comes to a close, a 6-0 shutout for Braintree over Weymouth.
Thanks, Mike. Now I'm joined by Petra Lynch for What's New in Entertainment. What's happening this week, Petra?
There's lots of interesting movies and TV shows coming out this week, which includes a documentary about a Cambodian refugee who went from rags to riches by baking donuts, a new Netflix horror film that follows a young refugee couple who settle in a small English town that is not quite what it appears, a new Netflix rom-com starring Emma Roberts, and the second season of a Disney Plus show set in George Lucas's widely popular Star Wars universe. Now in select theaters and online cinema is Alice Gu's documentary film, The Donut King. Executive produced by Ridley Scott, the documentary follows Cambodian refugee Ted Noi, who arrived in America in 1975 and was able to start up a business in baking America's beloved pastry, donuts. Noi soon found himself success after his California business expanded into a multi-million-dollar donut empire. This success ultimately allowed him to sponsor hundreds of visas for fellow Cambodian immigrants and help them get on their feet by teaching them the ways of the donut business. So by the mid-90s, Cambodian Americans owned nearly 80% of the donut industry in the LA area as a result. But in life, great rises come with even greater falls. The Donut King is a story of tenacity, survival, redemption, and above all else, the power of the American dream. Then new to Netflix is a horror film that centers on a young refugee couple who made a harrowing escape from war-torn South Sudan, only to end up in a small English village that has an unspeakable evil lurking beneath its surface. Also now available to watch on Netflix is a new rom-com, Holiday. Starring Emma Roberts and Luke Bracey, this film centers on Sloane and Jackson, two strangers who aren't big fans of the holidays, especially when being single on each festive occasion has left them subject to the judgment of their meddling family members or victims of clingy, awkward dates during said events. But when Sloane and Jackson meet during the one particular bad Christmas, they pledge to be each other's plus ones for each holiday celebration over the course of the year. However, as their time together comes to an end, the two find that sharing everything they hate may just prove to be something they unexpectedly love. Finally, now on Disney Plus is the highly anticipated second season of the Star Wars live-action series, The Mandalorian. Set 5 years after the Return of the Jedi and the fall of the Empire, The Mandalorian follows the adventures of a lone bounty hunter in the outer reaches of the galaxy. He is hired to retrieve the child, but ends up going on the run to protect the infant. While on their journey to learn more about the child's origins, they are pursued by Moff Gideon, a former operative for the fallen Galactic Empire. And new in music this week is the release of the official music video for Harry Styles' upbeat track, Golden, the 5th single from his second studio album, Fine Line. The 26-year-old singer has already dropped videos for several songs from the album, which includes Adore You, Falling, Lights Up, and Watermelon Sugar. The video is bursting with golden hues and summer sunshine as Styles is seen running, driving, and swimming throughout Italy's Amalfi Coast. The 60s-esque video also features the singer wearing his go-to brands, from a blue Gucci blazer to ultra-sustainable bowed shorts and sand and sea-inspired Elio jewelry. The official music video for Golden can now be watched on Harry Styles' YouTube channel, and the track, along with the full album, can also be streamed on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music.
Thanks, Petra. I can't wait to catch up with those films, and especially that music video. Thank you for watching Braintree today on BCAM TV. That was Petra Lynch, and I'm Martha Constantinides. That's all we have for news this week. See you next time.